2, 3, go! The most astoundingly impeccable, dark practitioners of what I would call quantum physics. For those of you who are smart enough to figure out what I mean by that. But they're not going to ever let that, they know the secrets of existence.
And that's what I always said, if they can control it, why can't we?
Well, the key is we
shift
can't.
myself away from that.
Sure, absolutely.
Away from the bullshit. I shift myself away from it. And I'm not even doing it consciously anymore now, it's just happening. I'm not focusing on it. What am I going to experience? I'm going to experience what I'm focusing on.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's like, when you change what you look at physically changes. Yeah, that's a deep one.
Yeah, it's too late for me to even get that deep. Oh. Yeah, that always bothered me when people... Because it's really hard for me to say, no, you shouldn't be paying attention to what's going on out there. Because I don't care what you do. You do whatever you want.
Right.
But I'm like, hey, look, if you're going to watch the news every day and you're going to run home and watch CNN and watch the war, and that's what you're going to experience. You're going to experience that.
For sure, you're going to manifest that into your life.
Yeah. Right.
That's going to become your reality.
Right, and that's, and if so you don't want to really just constantly focus on that all the time. Shift away from it where it's not, okay, so I mean, that's the thing I hear about, people walking, did you hear Trump, this, that, we might go to war, and all that is to me, it's a movie that was, a bad movie that was put out that won an award that I didn't want to see. That's all it is.
Basically, for those who know
they're living that.
who they are. Nobody
I
hardly knows who they are. That's
I feel like there's a shift going on as far as vibration. I think there's a higher vibration. I think a lot of us are moving into like a 5D kind of thing.
Oh, no doubt.
And, it's either... But there's... A lot of us are just holding on to 3D like this.
So, to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, God, don't do that.
He says, I believe it was Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm probably wrong, but he says that...
Hold on, let me shut the video off.
Physical reality is nothing but an illusion, although it's a very persistent illusion, it is an illusion nonetheless.
Who wrote that for him?
That's a good question, because... pretty much, that is what he is. He is an actor, just like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, that fraud.
Well, I've heard people say he died. What's he still doing here?
Clones.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, in that answer, that was quick. That answers all the, Nichelle. Well, see, when I first got into Colorado, I had heard on the news that Nichelle Nichols died, the horror from Star Trek. The original Star Trek. Nichelle Nichols died. I was like, oh wow, okay, she's joining the DeForest Kelly, James Dillon. I think he was on the trip. And I said, all right. A year goes by, I hear Nichelle Nichols died, and they're going to sprinkle her ashes in space. Look, that was my trigger point. I'm like, wow, wait a minute. First off, I already heard that she died, and now they're sprinkling her ashes in space. Well, the woman's still alive.
It's very convenient, huh?
Yeah.
So I mean, for me and for others, like with Muhammad Ali and who else? David Bowie and like that. Jerry Lewis, especially the comedian Jerry Lewis, died 20 years ago or 15 years ago, or whatever. He just died a couple months ago. Clone. That's an answer. But why would they do that? To push that? That would only be to push the Mandela effect, knowing it was coming, or
have you ever heard of the Project Bluebeam?
Yes.
So I mean, that would even incorporate directly to Project Bluebeam. If you can essentially manipulate people's view of life and death, and you can just all of a sudden just even like these mass shootings, you can sweep. It'll be in mainstream news.
Just what I was getting ready to
And
say.
then 15 days later, the story will change and nobody gives a fuck.
Well, we want to get rid of the guns. We got to get rid of the guns.
Okay.
But this has to do with
the shooter in Vegas, right? How does a dead guy commit a mass shooting?
Oh, he was dead.
I'll show you his-
I
I'll
didn't
show
look
you
at
his
what
death
Vegas. The
certificate.
Vegas
It's from
one was-
Colorado.
Hold
I
on,
stopped.
hold on. He died long before the Vegas shooting.
Really?
Yeah. So how does a dead guy commit a mass shooting?
We all remember him dying in another timeline, shifted into the one where he didn't.
No,
Or
he
you're
killed
saying
himself
clone.
after he shot
Oh, you're
everybody,
saying-
right?
Yeah, he was just clear. That guy was cloned.
I'm saying that's a CIA plant itself.
That's
But
MK Ultra.
But, you know, has anybody heard anything about that since then? It pretty much just up and
It's
vanished.
this. It's going, yeah,
My
it's
thing
just-
with-
Same with
It's the fear
New-
thing.
Newtown.
for sure,
These things aren't
if they
real.
keep you in fear,
To me, they're not
yeah,
real
they
at
can
all.
manipulate
I
you.
get that they might be happening physically somewhere and somebody might die. Nobody cares. They don't care. I get
Exactly.
that. They don't care. You know, I get that. So yes, something, you know, may physically be going on, but it's planned. It's planned out. It's just a
Steve
fear.
Paddock's death certificate right there.
They want everybody to fear, be in fear all the time, so that they can't harness their own emotions. You know,
Well,
they
and
don't
they
know what their
cannot
own
seize
emotions
their own
are.
power at that point.
Right? How are you going to create if you don't know what emotions and what you want, and you think you want all the shit on TV? You don't know what you
Yeah.
want.
Well, and see, these people who get, I would say the people who actually get cloned are people who are used by the system to keep people in check. Those are the only people that these secret societies will clone, are the people that they can completely use as an icon to manipulate the masses. Point blank and simple. That's why it's entertainers, movie stars, athletes, politicians, big businessmen like George Soros with 9 heart transplants. He was
Yep.
born in like 1890 and he's still alive in 2018. Are you fucking kidding me?
He
No
actually
way.
had a drink with Doc Holliday in here once, I think. When I died right before that, I think.
You don't just get 9 heart transplants and keep living.
No, you keep shifting or you're cloning. I mean, it could be a combination of both.
Or all of these people are very deep into occultic knowledge and they know the deeper principles of reality. And so they, like you said, they could just shift. They could,
If they know how to do it.
they could, at the moment upon death, you know, if you know exactly what you're doing, you're not going to die or go to some heaven or hell. You're going to go exactly where and when you intended to go. And that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Just worn that vessel out. Is all that.
this is just a skill
really
shit.
Exactly.
You know,
That's what I'm saying.
Ship, I love it.
You know, that's all it is. It's a fucking. I call it a meat vessel.
Well, I mean,
You know?
if the body is a temple, then I am the God in whom this temple is dedicated, or I wouldn't be able to run this body that they call a temple.
Yeah.
Never expected this conversation this late at night. I'm in here trying to explain the Mandela effect and then get away from the Mandela effect. I give them a little bit of seeds or whatever. Plant the seeds. If they get it, they get it. You know, I've been just running around waking people up and trying to. Am I supposed to? I don't think so.
For sure.
I think I'm supposed to. I think, you know, it's go out there, do the best I can do. That's why I did that radio thing on YouTube. And I don't know. I swear I kept saying, no, I don't want it to be produced. Did I show you a picture of it? I don't know where my phone is. Oh, it's up here. Unexpected. You got it. You picked it right up. Everybody else was like, yellow, yellow.
I thought it was yellow and black.
Yellow and black. It was yellow and black.
Red and white. It is.
What shape is it?
It's a triangle.
What was it when it was yellow and black?
I don't know what it was yellow and black, but you're right. It's red and white.
Still
And it's
triangle.
an upside down triangle.
It is an upside. It is an upside down triangle.
If you're defining the point, it's the bottom.
I was saying
Equilateral triangle.
All those Mandela effects I got in front of me on that thing, and I can't think of any. Like, okay, how about if I said,
Wait, I saw a box of cornflakes in there. What's with the cornflakes?
Kellogg's cornflakes. It used to be spelled with a K for some people. Me as well. I remember corn being spelled with a K.
Like the band.
Yes, exactly like the band. And I thought, hey, maybe the band's in town. That's why they're doing it, because it was a C for me. Then it was a K, and then it went back to a C. So I kept switching back and forth, shifting.
Like regional marketing?
I thought of that. I'm not going to deny that that's possible, but what about a movie, Silence of the Lambs? The most famous line in that movie, what would it be?
Hello, Clarice.
Would you believe that line's never been said in that movie? Never been said in that
I
movie.
feel like I just walked into a trap.
Well, you're in a trap, all right. You're definitely in a trap.
Wait, so what? That line has never been said.
No, apparently, what they're saying online is what is said in that scene is "Good morning." That's it.
Morning.
That's all he says. Instead of "Hello, Clarice." Yeah, Luke, I am your father. Never said. What color is C-3PO?
Brass. Is that a color?
I'll go with brass, sure. What color are his legs?
Also brass.
In this timeline, one of his legs is silver.
Wait, in this timeline?
In this one, yeah, in this one. The one we're in now. Yeah, he keeps changing too. What else? There's songs, lines. Please don't fall off that stool. Okay.
Are you sure we have the entire
Still. I didn't know I was videoing it all. You're fine.
Maybe you were.
Wait, no, I'm still thinking about C-3PO.
Jump.
Universe. Just the same as the Mandela effect.
Similar, not the same.
Well,
Similar.
yeah, similar. But that's all deja vu is you're witnessing a similar event in an alternate universe.
Have you noticed any Mandela?
Plenty.
Oh yeah. Have you noticed any? What's the oldest one you've seen? I said McDonald's.
Well, I was born in 1990, so
Yeah, so that's not going to help me none.
not really. But I am old enough to remember the fact that Mandela died in prison, and all of a sudden he's not dead in prison.
Cool.
I mean, I'm old enough to notice the Bernstein Bears were spelled one way, and now they're spelled differently. There's plenty of synchronicity to be seen anywhere.
Do you think we're multidimensional beings?
Absolutely. We exist already in 3 different worlds at all times, and that would be the physical world, the emotional world, and the mental world. And then if you want to take in other people's perceptions, you start getting into 7th, 8th realities, and that's like...
You've heard this before. Yeah.
Oh, because he's asked similar questions.
Yeah. I mean, it never hurts to learn and, I mean, you witness and experience things that there's no explanation for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How about shared
and-
dreams?
Me and him meet exactly. Me and him meet in the astral
Oh yeah.
plane, and share dreams quite frequently from Colorado Springs to Denver, and well, now it'll probably happen. And I live in Moose Haven.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. The subatomic level
talking about,
of reality with the way quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement and quantum physics actually works is beyond astounding. I mean,
That was profound.
Right, yeah, surprise, surprise. I mean, the science is there as proof for these philosophical allegories, and to be able to tether your conscious mind into what is true and what is false, so you're not led in some delusion, if you will, a manipulated reality that you don't control.
So you can control.
You can control everything about every second of every scenario.
Keep it up, brother. That I like. That I believe. That I feel. It's just we don't believe it.
Well, of course not.
That's what the problem is.
well,
If we
there's-
don't believe it. If we believed it,
At a species level, no. We are still very deeply locked into the matrix because people are stuck on Roman games.
yeah, or
Empire building is not going to go away for a while, I don't believe.
No. As long as there's a fucking fictitious line that means something, you know, it's always going to continue. You know, but do you want a one world government? So
what do we do while we're here? Create or try and get out?
I believe it's got to be a balance of both destruction and life.
yeah. Have you ever seen? There's like pictures of Buddha with like it'll have like coins coming into his hand and coins going out of his hand. That's all the universe is you know, yin and yang, give and take. It's all.
Oh, hey, he sounds like you got it, mama.
You can't get without giving. And you can't,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like you said, the empire building, that's like a necessary evil for.
Yeah, but
there
he
to
was
be-
more asking about like microcosm and macrocosm. We are literally 100% the universe incarnate that is conscious of itself, that can change itself. So, basically, all we are is literally the universe in existence itself, learning about itself to move and evolve. Like Eve, Adam, the atom evolves. Eve, that's us.
The atom evolves, huh? Wow. It's a Bible quote.
And it's, but I don't personally believe in the Bible, but there are many philosophical truths hidden to a person with an occult eye and understanding.
It's everywhere, and they all intertwine if you're looking. You know.
Well, everything is going to intertwine. Everything is connected, literally.
Yeah.
Everything. So that's just destiny.
Yeah. It's just how are you going to learn about it? You know, really through Buddhism, through
Experience
Yeah.
is my choice.
You know, experience is what I've had. I've had experiences that like just they're, but it's the way I interpret those experiences too.
For sure.
I mean, when the stars came at me, and they came at me like this from all different directions, 2.5, 3 minutes, whatever it was, that told me that the stars aren't suns with planets revolving around them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's what it said to me. I mean, no, I wasn't tripping. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't on anything. I just had an epiphany that you weren't going to prove to me it's a ball. You weren't going to prove to me it's flat. You're not going to prove to me either way.
For sure.
So, and that's just what, you know, what the bet you're on UFOs.
It's quite possible.
I figure they're intelligent beings.
And that would be why all of the ancient cultures named their gods were really the planets.
Yeah.
All of their gods were really allegories for planets and qualities of those planets. For example, another lame Bible quote. Think of the 12 disciples. That's the 12 months of the year, the 12 houses of the zodiac.
Okay. Could be interpreted that way. I can see that.
And how where the sun revolves around. Even if you think of Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, if you look at the solar cycle, you can see and track precisely how the sun moves.
Yeah, that's one of the Mandela effects, the Last Supper. There's a box supposedly down at his feet. Some of them have sandals. There's glass instead of wooden chalices. Now they're all glass. I forget what else. There's a couple, and those pictures have changed. We've changed again.
For sure.
Interesting. Thanks. That'll be nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hi, YouTube.
Yeah, these are my new Mandela affected friends. What are your names?
My name is Dan.
Dan?
Mike.
Mike. Yeah. So I have them come in here and I'll keep interviewing them. Get some more philosophical things.
The tint of all of his collective parts changed.
Since the first movie, I mean,
Like, you know, like sometimes they look more like silvery brass and sometimes they're more gold brass. But I don't know that like one of his legs would be a different color than the other.
you remember the movie, the vampire movie with Tom Cruise in it?
Yeah.
What was it called? Interview something.
Are you trying to bait me?
I'm baiting you again, girl. Interview.
Okay, I'm gonna say Interview with a Vampire.
And that's how I recall it too. You know what that means.
It's not in our current reality.
That's correct. In this reality, it is Interview with the Vampire. It doesn't even sound right.
I mean, I've only seen it once.
Okay. I mean, that's it.
But like, and I've seen many movies that I don't remember the names of.
But
so.
you weren't getting over Berenstein.
Well, that's the thing is like, how much of it is like the fallacy of memory versus
Do you work for Google?
no.
So I'm just wondering. Because if you Google it, it says everybody's misremembering all this stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So that's I guess my question is how much of it is a misremembrance versus a shift in
Some of it could be somebody misremembering. I'm not going to deny that. Some of it could be confabulation. That's what it's called.
Oh.
Some of it could be that. They've come up with that term, 2 years ago. I'm not buying it. There's too many things that I'm 100% sure on.
Oh, interesting. So
I'm not 100. All those things you saw around the little radio thing I got going on, I'm not 100% on all of those. And some of them are like, well, okay, deer can swim across the Great Lakes. Did you know deer can swim that far?
Which dimension
All of
and
them.
which Great Lake?
Well, this dimension and the biggest Great Lake. I don't know. I probably bigger than that. I mean, well, he wants to go bad, don't he? He's like, I'm out of here. Rounding them up. You want to switch? I still got a mop.
Not at all.
Everybody say goodnight.
Let's say goodnight to the camera.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. You gonna be here?
That's why I waited down here. I thought maybe
purchased a bunch of Mandela Effect books. And I'm going to go ahead and assess the first two I went through. Actually read two of them. This first one, the Mandela Effect Journal. I cannot pronounce that name. Lenny. Okay. Beginner's Guide to a Rising Phenomenon and Those Behind It. Okay. We got the first 19 pages, first 18 pages are describing the Mandela Effect theories, the Mandela effects in a nutshell. But then we got from page 20 to page 100 is where you are to write your notes on the Mandela effect. Okay. That's good because you couldn't go out and buy a $5 piece of paper. Now, in fairness, so far I haven't read this, but I'm going to right now, and I'll be right back because it's going to take me 2 minutes. All right, this will be the clearest way to do this. First, they just go into Nelson Mandela. Why is he associated with this? False memories comes up. I got a paragraph here of an extreme example. You know, you've always, I don't even know, can I do that? Yeah. You've always eaten a red apple. You wake up one day, it's blue. Hey, why are the apples blue? Hey, they've always been blue. Talking about, we're talking 4 lines on CERN and how it can be a computer. Normal change versus Mandela effect. It just goes through what other people have already said. If you've been into the Mandela effect, you've been experiencing it. You've been going through YouTube and Reddit and other people's theories and ideas. That's what this is. It's just, it's giving you examples. We got Skechers, Lion and the Lamb. What's the big deal if it's just a name change, a logo change? One or two here or there, I'd probably agree, but it's a lot, and they're saying that. Chapter 2 is Are You Affected? And they're giving you a bunch of tests. Darth Vader, Mirror, Mirror, Clarice, Sex and the City. And it's not bad. I mean, what they're writing here. I'm not thrilled with all this, the blank pages. I wanted to read something. It's not bad. It's not saying this is what it is and this is what it's not. But they are, they are saying what it's not. They're saying it's not, they're not saying it. So how can we know that our memories are real and not just confabulation? There are 3 main ways, and he gets into that. Len and PW get into that. So, and that's good. I read those. It's like, all right. This is good for somebody getting into the Mandela effect or has known about it and would like a book to go back on, stay fresh. Lists some of the most popular changes. It lists quite a few of them. Wow, 4 or 5 pages of them. And it talks about those behind the Mandela effect. They have CERN and D-Wave computer here, NASA, Google, computer stuff. It's all computer stuff. And then they have a few questions. What can you do about it? How can we spread the word? I think something very important here that they mention, and it's just a theory, but it seems like a very plausible one to me. They really think the Mandela effects are tests to see how people react. I think these people feel that they didn't expect the massive people that have seen the changes to come out like this. They think the problem is we're all out there talking about it, and what they're doing is getting results from people and finding out what they can do to eventually make changes without any memory problems or internet residue. And when that happens, we're at the total mercy of the pushing of the buttons. So, but this book really pushes on, it keeps talking about the computer. It's those behind the Mandela effect. This person's pretty sure it's computer. So, as as upset as I was when I first saw this book, it's an interesting read, the first 20 pages. I'd say that the most interesting was just the one page, final word from the authors. But so this is also another good beginner book, and it has some place to write in it. So maybe this is all right. I don't know. Let's see. Safeguard your memories with your Mandela Effect journal today. So, all right, that's book number 1, Mandela Effect Journal by Len and P.W. Here's our second book we have bought. Now, what gets me is this is his revised edition. I don't remember the first one. When I was looking these up, I was looking up for Mandela Effect books. And it was my understanding that Sasha Ericsson's book was the first and only Mandela Effect book put out there in February, I believe. And it just says 2017. It doesn't say the month. But I do remember it was around February. And when I looked up when these 4 books I just got were published, all of them were published in July. But I didn't come across them until December. I thought that strange. But anyway, this one, says it's revised. I'm not sure if that means it's been out or put out or whatever. 2016, first edition. So apparently this was the first Mandela Effect book. It's called Alternate. Parallel Universes, Simulated Reality, CERN Memory Inaccuracy, and Artificial Intelligence. Now, I found this book interesting. He sincerely gears towards very interesting things that I think were touched on, but he kind of goes for it. He gives examples and theories, memory. I don't like that he was all over the... He's very diplomatic about it, so it's not that big a deal. We got Jay Wheeler. His examples, all the old examples, maybe, according to him, a couple new ones. But they're all old for anybody watching my videos. Then he goes into theories as far as memory and confabulation and the law of influence, which is his coined phrase, where a bunch of people start to believe something, everybody else starts to jump on board. Drinking the red Kool-Aid, that's how I would term that. Then he gets into CERN. Okay, he talks CERN. That's a theory that, okay, it's a computer program and it could be, he explains what CERN is and all. And then we got parallel universes. He goes into mirror universes and then talks about if the multi-universe is true. See, and he's very diplomatic with all this stuff because this is not his main theory. This is not the theory he likes the most. He's just spitting it out there in a couple of pages, which is fine. But then he gets into artificial intelligence and simulated reality, which he is a very strong proponent. He strongly feels this is what's going on. He does, I don't know how he states it, not verbatim, but he doesn't know. But this is where he's turning. I mean, this is his biggest theory, the one he likes the most. And he gets into computer games. You're playing computer games. He talks about that and how we could be those players or how we're not those players, I think would be more accurate, and why we couldn't be like that. I disagree. I disagree with a couple of things, but that doesn't mean, look, he could be totally on. Just the computer thing, I'm like, well, if we're in a computer program, and I mean, I've had the experience where I should have died and didn't. My avatar just reverted to an extra player. I did something that I got an extra player or an extra life. I don't see why that's impossible. It's not my favorite theory by any means, but I totally think that's possible. I mean, why not? Especially if he's saying that we could be in a computer program and we're actually, thousands of years ahead of ourselves right now with the technology, and we've projected ourselves back into the past to experience it as a computer game. Absolutely possible. I don't see anything wrong with that. He talks about the future and neural lenses. Now, this got a little flaky for me because
starts talking about the wireless ultra-fine mesh brain-computer interface, where you put this thing on your head and it starts to integrate with your brain. It starts to become one with your brain. It's called neural laces. I mean, that sounds to me like, you know, trying to make humans into artificial intelligence, trying to turn them into robots. And he does talk about that in here, too, about the different ways, the different things, if they put them together, that's what's going to happen, super intelligence and this other thing. You know, he's talking about how, you know, computers are beating humans in chess and everything else, and saying we potentially will be able to live in a future where we can preserve life without the body. You know, okay, well, that's something I don't want to get into. Why would you want to do that? Isn't the point of being physical to be physical? I mean, to me, he sounds very excited that we're going to be able to do whatever we want. Some people say in 20 years, some 100, and he's saying it could be in 10. You know, and this guy seems excited. You know, it's because you get to do whatever you want. But you're going to be half human, half computer, if I'm understanding. I just read this, and it's not degrading what humans have achieved thus far. There are some incredible creations, developments in technology in our world, and it's only getting better. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad book. You know what he was talking about for sure. So, you know, whether, I mean, at first when I looked at this, I just thought, wow, what could be in here? Most of it's just stuff we already know, and, you know, I really get upset with confabulation because I know that's not what it is. You know what? It could be that for some people. Some people might be misremembering things, and some people might be just drinking the red Kool-Aid.